Hello, and welcome to the National PTA Candidate Speeches and Queries. I'm Tina Hartman, Chair of the National PTA Elections Committee. In the recordings that follow, you will hear speeches and candidate query responses from candidates for National PTA Vice President of Membership. The candidates were recorded the weeks of April 26th and May 3rd. This video was edited to place candidates in a random order established prior to the recording. Candidates were recorded live. No candidate was given the questions in advance, and no candidate was given an opportunity to repeat their speech or query responses. In addition, candidates did not hear other candidates' speeches or query responses during the recording process. During the recording process, members of the Elections Committee acted as timekeepers, and candidates were able to watch a timer as they spoke. Time started when a candidate began to speak, and when time expired, the parliamentarian signaled the candidate to stop speaking. To maintain our policy of impartiality, Kay Cruz, National PTA's parliamentarian, moderated the speeches and queries.
Alison Turner will speak for 3 minutes. You may begin.
Hello, PTA. I've missed you and I can't wait to see you again. Like me, you're as busy as ever, I would bet, just differently. Being PTA flexible has never been more important in work and in life. The question is, where do we go from here? I believe PTA makes a difference, that our membership is key to our success, and that it's time to transform who we are, what we do, and how we do it. Transformation looks like this. Recruit new members because everyone belongs in PTA. Retain existing members by serving them, proving the value of PTA, and asking them, and cultivating relationships, connections, especially with our local district and state leaders. These 3 steps, recruiting, retention, and cultivation, will revitalize and reinvigorate PTA, empowering members and leaders everywhere to be bold advocates for all children. My background, serving on the national board, a former state president, current state leader, leadership roles and connections with other organizations, corporate and nonprofit careers will all make a difference working together with you. We can do this. We're PTA. PTA is family and community engagement, critical across the nation in this crazy time. We can build on PTA for your child with PTA for all children, and everyone belongs in PTA. You may have heard my light switch story. I won't do the whole thing now, but here's the punchline. Everyone is vested in public education, everyone, and everyone belongs in PTA. I think the question isn't just why PTA, although it's a good question. But what if we flip the script? Maybe the real question is, who wouldn't want to be part of PTA? Who belongs in PTA? Oh, I have a list, and here's one example. PTA is about child health, safety, and welfare, so every pediatrician, every medical professional should be a member, right? PTA is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. My outreach to the Latin Chamber, the NAACP, the Asian American, and LGBTQI communities has always been warmly welcomed. It's time to return the favor, reach out, connect, and welcome everyone, because everyone belongs in PTA. PTA is about respect and collaboration, listening to leaders and members. It's time to honor experience, discover new ideas, build on a renewed foundation, and put the member back in the membership association. Because without members, we have no voice to bring to our critical advocacy work. And finally, PTA is about service, uniting legacy and mission with servant leadership and connection. It's time to pay forward opportunities I've had, some earned, many given. It's time to ask for your support to serve you as VP membership. Thank you for all of your hard work. I believe in you. I believe in PTA and that everybody belongs in PTA. I ask you to believe in me and vote Alison Turner for VP membership. Thank you.
And thank you. Your first query. From your perspective, why is PTA experiencing a membership decline?
Well, that's a question I've asked myself a lot. And I think that we really need to refocus a bit on our leaders and our members across the country. I think that we talk about our values, and I think that collaboration and consensus building is just critical. We have to make sure that all of our constituent associations are on board as we move into the next phase. Certainly a global pandemic has not done anybody any good. I truly believe, being a bit of an optimist, that this is an opportunity for us to really look at who we are and what we're doing and how we're doing it, and move forward together with all of our leaders across the nation and make a difference to new members, to existing members, and certainly for all children. That's just urgently important now more than ever. Thank you.
Thank you. Next query. What is your definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how is it applicable to membership?
Right now, in today's world, the concepts of diversity, equity, and inclusion are just critical. We have to make sure that we have an understanding of who we serve now and who we would like to serve and how we get from here to there. I think that diversity comes in many flavors. It's certainly very important to have racial and ethnic and gender, specific, and all kinds of inclusion based on outward looking things in some ways. But the truth is that on the inside, we're all people. And we also have to remember to be inclusive of diverse ways of thinking, diverse ideas, because we need to rebuild a lot of the foundational aspects of the work that we do. And I'll give you a quick example. In the Latino world, you don't go in and give the teacher a hard time. We need to understand that when we talk about moving forward into the Latinx community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next query. As Vice President of Membership, how will you assist leaders in retaining and recruiting members?
Okay, I believe that that retaining members is based on service. If we're not retaining members, we need to figure out why not. They're leaving for reasons, not just one unique reason, I don't think, but they are leaving for reasons, and we don't seem to have a good grasp of what that looks like. In terms of recruiting in particular, I seriously have a list I've made up of all the different kinds of people who should be part of PTA, because well, I guess I'll just reiterate, who wouldn't want to be part of PTA? Even when people respond to my question about, hey, how about, join us, please. And they say, oh, well, I don't agree with everything that PTA, does or says or positions, and I say, great, then we need you to be involved more than ever. Because if you think there's something that's not right, then we really need for you to get involved and help us make it right. So I think when you're responding to people and searching them out in those ways, that's what's going to make looking for members and welcoming all members and potential ones a lot more direct and easy. Thank you.
Thank you. And your final question, how will you promote the usage of National PTA's membership campaign?
I am a big fan of there's no wrong way to PTA, and certainly PTA for your child is important. I also think we need to build on that. I think more of our constituent associations will welcome and utilize the membership campaign if we interact a little bit more with them and do some communication and some building upon the base that we have now to be even broader in our outreach. I really believe that everyone belongs in PTA, and so when you say PTA for your child, I think in a sense you're limiting yourself to parents of K-12 students. I think everybody belongs in PTA because everybody's vested in public education. And I think if we start approaching it in that way, and especially if we collaborate and work on consensus with our state and district and local leaders, that's how we're going to build on the existing membership campaign and make it even better and even stronger and get even better results. Thank you.
Thank you. Jude Bruno will speak for 3 minutes. You may begin.
Hi, I am Jude Bruno, a PTA member and one that's genuinely humbled to be before you as a slated candidate for Vice President for Membership. I've been excited since the nomination to share at convention my passion for serving in this unique role at a pivotal time for this historic and premier association. We have learned more this year that it takes a village to raise children. Since elementary, I've been involved with PTA, a student, a leader, an employee, a role model, and now father. The fact of the matter is, PTA has and remains that village. Like every year, we've made every effort to reach children regardless of their background or that of their parents to ensure that they could access quality education and address food insecurities. The pandemic allowed us to support the creative ingenuity of our public school employees and policymakers to ensure that also included remote learning. We were right there with our teachers and cafeteria workers and support staff to serve safely. That is the energy I want us to remind people that we are more than just school fundraisers, meeting participants, and paper pushers. We are volunteers, stakeholders, partners, leaders who continue to show that even in the face of adversity, we aim to make every child's potential become a reality. Why? Because our children deserve better from us. And to do better, we need more members like you. And to accomplish that, we must learn from yesterday's success, but need to show today's and tomorrow's relevancy for addressing our collective challenges. There is a role for everyone in this association, and we must invite people who have never been invited, reach communities where they are, boost male involvement, and stop assuming that everyone knows who we are, and bring students to the table more. It helped me. A lot has changed since our association founding, and we need to change our approach, both digitally and in print, to reach new people, reach new families, in a world that is divided, unfortunately, into many parts. We must learn from the use of technology during this pandemic, but remember the basics that many families still rely on today for connection and community. One thing that can unite us all is providing the best for children by creating opportunities. We need people who love children and want them to succeed to be members of this association, regardless where they are. And that's what I want to keep doing with you. I am Jude Bruno, and I'm running to be your next National PTA Vice President. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to sharing our stories, our success, and our passion for our children's future. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Now your queries. From your perspective, why is PTA experiencing a membership decline?
PTA is experiencing a membership decline because we have got to change our way of reaching new families and understanding that this new wave of parents are not having as many children as they once used to. And we're not producing more children as a society to enter our public school system. So we've got to reshape how we think our membership structures. We have to go from a school model to a school and community model. And again, reaching communities where they are and addressing the issues that are in our communities that again goes into our schools. If we work collectively to go into our churches, to go into our community centers, including our places of work, and talk about the issues that are affecting those that are in our public school system, we can boost our members. Because at the end of the day, it's conversation. And we just have to take the conversation from out of the schoolhouse and into the communities that our children live and continue to get their community resources. Thank you for the question.
And thank you. Your next question. What is your definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how is it applicable to membership?
Diversity is more than just color, race. Includes socioeconomic background, it includes religion, it includes people from different cultures and pretty much different walks of life. And we have to be able to be inclusive in our decision making and understanding that when we're speaking about every child, we also have to know the communities in which they go to. Because in order to speak for every child with one voice, we have to know the children and their families that continue to support them. So when we talk about equity, it needs to be from a place of understanding and a place of really trying to make a difference for the child and involving the parents into that decision making. And it's something we need to get more of our public schools to do, particularly in developing many of the educational programmings for our children. And we also have to remember that it's about the children. So we have to go where we're uncomfortable if we really care about making every child's potential become a reality. Thank you for the question.
And thank you. Your next question. As Vice President of Membership, how will you assist leaders in retaining and recruiting members?
I appreciate the question because I believe that's one of those constructs that we're going to need to change. First, we need to continue with our membership marketing campaign. Second, we need to work with our state leaders in providing them that support from that national structure that they once were used to and that they were able to thrive with. And thirdly, we have to start talking to local units more. We at National have to start talking to local units more, those that are on the boots on the ground, moving and shaking and talking about our core values as an association. And we have to see what resources that they need for us to provide. And we have to include our state leaders into that process so that they can reinforce between the very specialties that our state bring. And in doing so, we can create that pipeline of leaders and backbench to solve that membership decline that unfortunately is hurting us. And I believe if we involve that stakeholders and take it from a bottom up approach, we'll be able to address some of those membership declines and efforts. But it's also about listening. You can never lead an effective team if you're not willing to listen to the people that you're leading. Thank you for the question.
And thank you. Your final question. How will you promote the usage of National PTA's membership campaign?
In this year that we've had, the last 18 months have been troubling, and we have been able to again rise through adversity and challenging in the midst of personal sacrifice, because we want to make sure that children ultimately get what they need and making sure there's no stoppage of that advocacy. Taking that membership campaign and showing people that we did more than just fundraisers, bake sales, or going into our schools to volunteer. We went out into the community and joined the fight for equality, social justice. We were out in our community serving food to our most vulnerable, regardless of their backgrounds or their zip codes. That is how we need to take our membership campaign and share those success stories and share those moments where PTA was there, where we weren't there with our titles, where we weren't there as cliques, as we often get accused. We were there as human beings, and it is okay to join us as a human being and as a mankind that wants what is best for children. When you share those stories, those raw passion, unfiltered, who can't say, yes, I want to join PTA? Thank you for the question.
Thank you.